Alex, and welcome to Subjective Thoughts. And our comic for today is Young Hellboy, Assault on Castle Death, Issue 4 by Dark Horse. Now there is some violence, fighting, shooting, blood, killing, and more fighting in this one, so if you are in any way squeamish, you have been warned. Also, spoilers. Alright, here's our creative team. So, finally, I have arrived at the last issue of Young Hellboy, Assault on Castle Death. It's been a really nice short story. Alright, so when we left off in issue 3, Hellboy continued forward with Lobster Johnson and his hallucination to stop the Nazis from releasing a missile with a magical mist at the U.S. So here we just make sure I remember correctly. Okay. So as they continued outside, there's still a storm going on. They get to these doors, which Hellboy sees as huge wooden ones, but they're actually a prop. And he sees Lobster Johnson putting some dynamite on that and making it explode, and then they go through. Then we go back to Robert. A bit more about him, how the Brotherhood of the Desolation, how they moved him to this town to prepare to get to Hellboy. You see him getting down from the bus, renting a room in that old lady's home, how he has a job, living a normal, quiet life, what he wants to preserve. And then you see him, seeing the prophecy before him. Hellboy is an adult walking the earth all the destruction and everything. And he's like, I must not fail. And with that, and by the way, I was wrong. I said in the video for issue 3 that he cuts his arm. No, he cuts his arm here. I said that in issue 3. But yes, he cuts it here. And then he continues forward. And then you see Sam. He's lying on the ground under the boxes. He's like, I gotta do something. He's trapped. Robert continues on, and then let me just make sure that, yeah, this is right after. Just a second. Okay, that was right after. So Robert leaves, and then and it sounds like I gotta help Hellboy. And then we get a flashback to when Sam was young. He worked as a policeman, and he was patrolling the streets, and he heard a crash. 2 crooks went into a jewelry store and wanted, obviously, to steal. He went in and with his baton and gun, but there were 2 of them, and they immediately shot him. I guess that's where his injury came from, because he got a shot in the leg and I think in the shoulder. It just grazed him. But he thought he would die that night if it wasn't for someone helping him. And someone was Lobster Johnson. Holy shit. I imagine Lobster Johnson must have been real then, right? Mac wouldn't have imagined him. Sam. It's not like Sam was gravely wounded and dying. He was wounded, though. And not to that extent to hallucinated before his death. So Lobster Johnson attacked them, protecting Sam, and he kills both of them, and then feel the claw, and then Sam was lying there, was like, he is real. And as the Lobster Johnson went away. So remembering that, Sam finds the strength to push the crate off of him, and he's like, I gotta go help Hellboy. So we go back to Hellboy and Lobster Johnson. They keep progressing, supposedly reaching the room with the missile. They have to save the trapped family of that engineer or scientist or what have you. They keep fighting. Hellboy imagines a bunch of cardboard cutouts of people as the family, and then Max starts barking at some, I think maybe stuffed animals. They got a bear and everything, and Hellboy imagines them kind of like on the cover. And he's like, "Wait, Mac, I'm coming to help you." And then, so much happens here. Yeah, imagine he's fighting. Imagine they're scary wild animals. And then, okay, then he sees the carpet as the missile. No, okay, yeah. There we go. Okay, so I'm like this. And then Lobster Johnson tells him, quick, grab the family and take them upstairs to the roof. I got an evacuation for them. So he grabs the dummy, thinking it's the little daughter of the scientist, or the guy to build the missile, and imagining the parents are running behind. So he goes upstairs. He's like, "What do I do?" And Lobster Johnson, take the stairs, no elevator. So Hellboy goes. Brother Robert's following him. Hellboy, as Lobster Johnson shoots the hallucination of Nazis. Hellboy gets to the roof, imagining he's carrying the little girl, and she's thanking him. And he's like, "Oh, look, your ride is here." And he sees a helicopter, and it's no, not a helicopter, sorry, a plane, and it's flown by Scarlett Santiago. And he's like, "Ah, it's Scarlett Santiago." And then he takes the dummy and tells the little girl, "Here, climb the ladder and get out of here, go to safety." And he's looking on, he's thinking, "Oh, why Scarlett O'Hara a gorilla suddenly?" He's confused. And then behind him, Robert is there with the dagger about to kill him. And then suddenly someone says, "There's a special circle in hell for those who hurt children. For those who want to hurt children." Robert turns and he's like, "Who?" And it's Lobster Johnson. I think really Lobster Johnson. He takes his hand, the one that has the imprint of the claw of the lobster, and he hits and he grabs Robert's forehead and he screams because it started kind of like a brand on his forehead. He screams from pain and falls from the roof of the warehouse. Then Hellboy is there a bit tired, sitting down, and Sam arrives to the roof. Hellboy looks at him. He still sees him as a soldier. He's like, "Kid, are you okay?" And Hellboy and Matt get to him, and he's all tired. And Max, and Sam says, "Come on, kid, let's get you back to bed." So they leave. We go to the professor. He's telling people, "Okay, start looking in the woods around." He couldn't have gone far. And then Sam calls and says, "I think I found what you're looking for." And he brings Hellboy. And Professor's like, "Oh, Hellboy, and I was worried about you. It looks like your fever broke." And Hellboy said, "Yeah, I was on a mission with Lobster Johnson." And the Professor sounds exasperated. He's like, "How many times do I have to tell you, Hellboy? He's not real. He's just in those funny books that you read." Just funny to me. Like, all the things the Professor saw, and he can't believe that Lobster Johnson was real. That's beyond him. But everything else, including Hellboy, yeah, perfectly plausible. Okay, then one of the people tells the Professor, one of the men is like, "Professor, I got something to show you." So the Professor tells Margaret, I think her name is, Margaret, to take Hellboy to bed. So Margaret does. She tucks Hellboy in. And he tells her, "But I did see Lobster Johnson, Margaret." And she tells him, "Well, when you wake up, you'll talk about it more with the Professor in the morning." She closes the door, wishing Hellboy sweet dreams. And then Sam's there and said, "Can I talk to Hellboy for a minute?" She tells him, "Fine, but not too long. He needs his rest." And then they talk about the whole Lobster Johnson. Hellboy's like, you did see it, right?" And Sam essentially confirms. Because he tells Hellboy, your dad's a very smart man, but he doesn't know everything. And you get some sleep and I'll get you those funny books tomorrow. And Hellboy's like, I knew it. And he's smiling. We go back to the professor. He's with he's with those two guards that Hellboy punched, thinking they were zombies. He apologizes to them. They say, it's one of them says, it's fine. It's just my pride is hurt. And the other says, that kid of yours should consider going into boxing. And then a third man calls the professor and says, over here, professor. And they said that, this man fell off the roof. He has no identification, so we don't know who he is. Then he picks up the sheet that's on him and the dagger. He picks up the dagger first. And he says, but I know what and who sent him. It's that Brotherhood. Then he picks up the sheet and he sees the corpse, the body, and he sees the brand of the lobster on his forehead. He's like, what the heck is that? That, professor, may be proof of Lobster Johnson really existing. And then we go at the end to the Brotherhood, the Brothers of Desolation, back in the Italy in that abandoned monastery. One of the brothers goes to Brother Matthias to tell him, obviously, that the mission failed. Brother Robert is dead. And then he tells who called him, that will be all. I need to be alone and think about the next move and everything. And then the final panel, you see the one that started the Brotherhood, the one that saw the visions. You see, I guess maybe his ghost, kind of. And that is it. That is how the story ends. Alright, so first, this is a fucking awesome cover. I really love the art style. I think maybe... Not sure, I think it looks very Manola, but I don't think it is. I'm pretty certain that this might be cover A, not cover B. I'm not sure. I might leave it here if I remember which it is. But regardless, it's a fucking awesome cover, very Manola-like. I like all the animals with the maybe transmissioners on them. They're possessed. You see Lobster Johnson. I kind of wish they added Mac in there too, but that is still very fucking cool. Unfortunately, we don't get a scene like that. I really wish this comic was in the art style of whoever did this, or Mike Manola. I think it would have made it even fucking better. And still. Alright, then let me show you a bit of the art. Second. Okay, so you see there's the warehouse, Hellboy, Lobster Johnson. I can show you this here. You see there's him carrying a little girl. It's actually a dummy. And there we go. You see that's how the door actually looks, and that's what Hellboy sees. And I see a Lobster Johnson putting some dynamite. And okay, there we go. There's Brother Robert. I see the cut is. Oh wait. No. Wait. My mistake. I said before he did cut his arm in the previous issue. Then in issue 3, he's already bleeding here. AC's going around all crazy. And you see how he got into town, the old lady, and then him working. Just think, if it wasn't for the Brotherhood, he could have had a nice, normal life. Alright. So this was a nice little story with young Hellboy. I like that we got to see how they got to the headquarters in Connecticut. Or Connecticut, as Hellboy keeps referring to it. That was interesting to see. I always wondered why was Hellboy in New Mexico for quite a while. I always thought that they always had the Firefield, Connecticut headquarters, but apparently not. That was later. I also see more of the professor with Hellboy, and Hellboy interacting with the people of the BPRD. You know, that janitor guy that's probably also from the Brotherhood never got He wasn't mentioned again after. I wish you could see at least maybe he's escaping or something. Maybe he stayed there to keep watch, actually. That would be smarter. And then maybe he's the one who told them that Brother Robert has failed and is dead. Yeah, this is a nice little adventure story with Hellboy having the hallucinations from a fever. I don't know, maybe if he got some kind of tropical fever after everything that happened. Perhaps. So it would have been interesting to get more detail about that. And also, why did the professor dream about Scarlett O'Hara, Santiago? I mean, was it some kind of warning? Well, what really happened? Why did Hellboy see these hallucinations? And what was with the thing with Lobster Johnson? Because at first it looks certain that Hellboy's hallucinating the whole thing, but then he's the one who saved Hellboy. Now, based on Sam's age, I would imagine, I think at least maybe 20 years or something like that passed since he was a young cop. And then he's working for the BPRD. So maybe at this point, Lobster Johnson is dead. I don't think he was... I don't think maybe he was there really physically, but maybe he was a spirit? Because he obviously saved Hellboy's life, and that branding somehow did appear. So perhaps either he was... I don't know, he's a spirit and he came to help Hellboy to save him? Because he got him out of his room, perhaps that was the idea, because maybe Robert was heading there, and Lobster Johnson getting him out of there saved him, and then later him killing Robert. Yeah, I wish I had an answer. So did it... Was it him in the flesh, or was it just a... was it just all a ghost or something? Because he was a hero right in the 30s. And this is, if I remember... The thing is, this is the 50s now. So, yeah, 20-something years maybe. So he could still be alive. And I really wish I do. So yeah, this was a fun little adventure. I really enjoyed it. It was interesting to see all of the Hellboy's imagination and these hallucinations conjured up. Hallucinations. Again, it's still funny to me that the professor's not willing to buy that Lobster Johnson is real. Even after everything the professor has saw. Like this one, nah, it's just in the funny books. He can't exist. But why, Professor? After everything, including Hellboy, why can he not exist? Huh. Oh well. Now this is like 2 years old, it's from 2002, so I wonder if in the future we'll get more young Hellboy. I think it would be interesting. That character I really want to continue reading about is Lobster Johnson. He's really fucking interesting. Alright, I really enjoyed the story. If you like Hellboy, I would definitely recommend it. And man, I really like their pose here in his little Scarlet Crab outfit. Adorable. Alright, folks, so that is it. Let me know if you read this series, this last issue. What did you think of the story? And remember, collect what you're passionate about and share it on YouTube. Bye!